What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video and welcome to your stimulus check update, stimulus package update, and daily news report for Tuesday, May 4th. So there's been a lot of talks going on amongst lawmakers, and I want to really explain what has been going on, what is being said, and where we are going to go from here. First, President Biden is wanting to get his $4 trillion infrastructure package passed as quickly as possible. He does not want to wait. Democrats want to ensure that the child tax credit and the unemployment benefits and other stimulus actually get included into this next infrastructure package. Progressives say that a fourth stimulus check is needed now more than ever before, and this is one of the ways we can entice people to get back to work. And President Biden wants to guarantee that anybody making less than $400,000 per year does not pay 1 penny more in taxes. So there's a lot going on. This is where things start to get tricky, though. So let me explain what is currently happening. Now, if you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. Again, I just want to thank you guys for watching. If you can, go ahead, hit that like button. It does help out the channel. Now, experts are currently saying that right now we are seeing an economic recovery slowdown simply because right now there's a lack of people going back to work. President Biden made it legal for people to that were on unemployment or currently on unemployment. It is legal for them to turn down work if they are worried that they could potentially contract COVID. So there are some states, though, like Arizona, I think Nevada, there's a handful of states, there's like 8 to 10 states that currently you have to go and apply for jobs. And if you do not apply for jobs, you cannot get any unemployment benefits. So they are starting to change the rules as states start to open up a little bit more. So we will see what happens there, but some experts do say that is potentially a good thing. However, some experts also say that this could mean people that are currently on unemployment will not get their benefits simply because they don't realize that there's been a rule change. So if you aren't sure if your state is now requiring this, make sure you look into that because this could mean either getting benefits or not getting benefits for the next week or so. Now, President Biden, he also, in addition to allowing people to turn down work because they are worried about potentially contracting COVID, President Biden also is giving free health care to lower income individuals. And this is what is causing many to not go back to work either, because they don't have to worry about driving to work. They are getting their state benefits, whatever those may be. They're getting their additional $300 per week. And on top of that, they don't have to pay for health care. They do not have to pay for health care because under what President Biden has done, he is allowed, I believe it's the certain subsidies through the Affordable Care Act. He's kind of extended that or expanded that, which now means millions more people qualify for free or reduced health care. And so that's actually pretty big. I think that was incredible. But at the same time, experts are now saying that that is making people want to stay home from work, because they were lower income to begin with, but instead of paying $100 or $200 a month in health insurance, now they get it for free. So on top of receiving free health insurance, they don't have to worry about contracting COVID, and they get the additional $300 per week. So experts are now saying that it would be foolish for some of these employees to go back to work when they will make less money. They run the risk of contracting COVID, and they could potentially get their hours cut if more employees decide to come back to work. This is really true for the restaurant industry, the hospitality industry. It is very true in these cases because once the employees start rushing back to work, and this is what some are saying is most likely going to happen right about September, because the current unemployment benefits expire on September 6th. So we will see what happens there. But right now, it's according to experts, it makes more sense for all these employees to stay home. But this is where things get really tricky. This is where many lawmakers are saying that it would be a wise idea to let unemployment benefits just simply expire, run out, sometime it would be the first week in September, but that they need to provide an option to get the American people back on their feet. How do they do that? Well, this is where some Democrats are saying we need to find ways to help these people pay for their bills, and this would be where a fourth stimulus check would come in. Now, again, right now, okay, I just want to reiterate this because this is something I've been saying for the last few weeks, is right now, the Biden administration does not want to hear a stimulus check because they say that's not what is needed. We need infrastructure. We need additional assistance and relief to certain groups and certain people. But we don't need just a big blanket approach and that stimulus check. So here's what lawmakers are doing, specifically Democrats. They are trying to now say, okay, instead of a stimulus check, we're going to provide an additional child tax credit. Well, that only works for parents and the children. What about people that don't have children? What about people that are elderly where their children grew up and now they obviously aren't under the age of 17? What about them? Well, this is where some lawmakers are saying, well, what we should do is we need to provide a stimulus check or more of a holdover check just for the people that, let's say, come off of unemployment, or maybe those that are lower income individuals. Let's provide a stimulus check to them, or this holdover check, which is going to last them maybe 2 weeks to possibly a month. Maybe it's $1,000 check. Let's give them that. And then this is really going to entice people to go back to work. Well, we don't know until they actually do it. But what I can tell you is this is exactly, pretty much exactly what the Trump administration did with the $1,200 stimulus checks about a year ago. The goal of that check was not to provide the American people with some spending money to go out and buy the newest, newest shoes, the newest electronic, the new iPhone. That wasn't the goal. The goal of it was very simple, was to help people that didn't have an income because the government was just shutting down every single state because of this pandemic and how quick it was growing. So it's been over a year later, and we are still talking about the exact same thing. Let's provide for the American people that currently do not have an income or will not have an income after September 6th. So this unemployment crisis is now turning into, okay, let's fix the unemployment crisis by giving an additional check. Maybe we don't call it a stimulus check. Maybe we call it a, whatever. I don't care what the name is. If you guys want to come up with a name, go for it. But that really doesn't matter because lawmakers are going to pretty much call it whatever they want. The goal is going to be the exact same thing. Give more money to the American people so they can spend it. They can go and use it on, their apartment, pay for their rent, pay for their car payment, maybe pay for food, things like that. So the main difference here, though, the main difference is that this time the stimulus check would be more targeted. This would be more targeted because, and this is what lawmakers are saying, we can now look at the 2020 tax returns. Well, as of right now, it is May 4th. So we still have a little bit. We have, 13 days, less than 4 weeks, or less than 2 weeks currently until your federal income taxes are supposed to be in based on the new rule. So right now, what I can tell you, lawmakers are saying that once we pass this, everybody should have their 2020 tax returns in so we can specifically look at 2020, see, okay, you only made, $13,000 this year. Yes, you qualify. Oh, that person made $185,000. No, you don't qualify for an additional stimulus check. We're not going to give you one because you made too much money. Okay, great. That's perfectly fine. But this is what currently know is that right now many lawmakers are in support of an additional payment, additional direct payments, as long as we are looking at 2020 specifically and not going back to 2019. That is what they're saying. Let's look at 2020, see who was negatively impacted by this pandemic, and those will be the people, those will be the families that get an additional relief payment. So, yes, even though we are having issues with unemployment and getting people back to work, lawmakers are looking at the stimulus check as a way to entice people to leave unemployment benefits, go back to work, and let's get this economy opened up, like it was supposed to be. But here's what you need to remember. All of this comes down to what Democrats want and how much support they are going to get from their own party. We currently know Senator Joe Manchin, who is a Democrat. Okay, he opposes some of the things that President Biden has put in front of him. He does not support DC statehood, which was already passed by the House. Okay, that's not going to happen. And one of the reasons I bring that up, even though that's not in the infrastructure package, I bring this up because if DC statehood were to pass through the Senate, which as of right now it won't. Okay, I don't think it has enough votes. Actually, it doesn't have enough votes by I think like 3 or 4. So currently, if DC statehood were to pass, that would actually provide additional Democrats into the House and Senate. Well, by doing that, now the Senate has more leverage, and Joe Manchin would lose all the leverage and all the power that he once had. So, Joe Manchin is not going to do this because right now he is the one in the middle that is currently holding up anything from Democrats currently passing. We also know currently Democrats want to ensure that nobody making less than $400,000 per year has to pay any more in taxes. Now, here's what you need to understand. It is $400,000 as a couple, not $400,000 as an individual. It's $200,000 as an individual. So let's say somebody makes $30,000 per year, but their spouse has a business or just a neurosurgeon or whatever, right? Somebody that makes a decent amount of money. Does a neurosurgeon make a decent amount of money? Probably, but let's say they make $380,000 per year. Well, that means that couple makes over $400,000. So yes, even though the person, the one spouse only makes $30,000 per year, their taxes will go up simply because they are married to somebody that will put them over that threshold. That is where some lawmakers say, no, that is not right. It should be every single person has to make over $200,000 per year. We will see what happens there, but as of right now, there's currently discussions on that. We also know Democrats want to expand Medicare to help the elderly even more. Now, I think this is interesting when lawmakers say even more, okay? Because as of right now, lawmakers are not helping the people really on Medicare. Lawmakers aren't helping the elderly. Lawmakers aren't helping people on SSI and SSDI or our veterans. They're not helping them. They're doing very little for them. Their goal as of right now for Democrats is to provide relief to every single American in a fair and efficient way. This is where some are saying that the only way to provide a fair and efficient relief package is to include stimulus checks. That's the only way, because it would be too complicated, it wouldn't be fair, and it definitely wouldn't be efficient to do, let's say 5 or 6 different bills, try to get all those passed currently in a divided 50-50 Senate. We also know Democrats want to see this bill passed before July 4th. That is at least according to Nancy Pelosi. Others say the true deadline will be the end of July because then lawmakers will be going on recess for the entire month of October, or August, not October. So we'll see what happens there. But we currently know that Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says the GOP will not support anything over $600 billion. And many worry that the one bill that will get bipartisan support will be the American Families Plan. That is the bill for $1.9 trillion. But at this time, Republicans want to see the entire $4 trillion infrastructure package. They want to see this drop down to about $600 billion. The problem here is that most likely will not happen. Currently, there's a lot of provisions that have bipartisan support, but right now, it's not the majority of the bills. What does have bipartisan support is true infrastructure, things like roads, bridges, ports, and railways. There's even bipartisan support on the extension or expansion of the child tax credits for an additional couple years. And there's bipartisan support on finding a way to pay for this bill without putting the United States further into debt. However, how they decide to pay for this bill, that's what currently doesn't have bipartisan support. Republicans want pay-fors. Democrats want to increase the corporate tax rate, charge millionaires and billionaires additional taxes, have a capital gains tax. They want all those things, and Republicans are like, no, we cannot have those, we cannot support those, so you will not have our support. But outside of those things, there's currently no bipartisan support, and that is exactly what President Biden wants. He wants to pass a bill that has bipartisan support. However, this week, President Biden and Senator Capito will meet and go over their different plans, go over their different ideas, and try to talk the other person into, hey, come towards my side, come a little bit closer, so that hopefully we can really have a good negotiation. Republicans are open to negotiating, but again, they have very little power. There's not a lot Republicans can do at this time. Democrats are willing to negotiate as well, but they won't make major concessions at this time simply because there's more Democrats on board with this $4 trillion infrastructure package, and some say it is not needed for Democrats to make any concessions right now. What I can tell you is that both parties are still a long ways apart, but they say they must start negotiating now because if they want to get this done within the next 2 months, things have to happen quickly. You got to remember, lawmakers, Congress, they don't move quickly. So we will have to see over the next 2 months what really happens. But as always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back and fill you in on all the latest news and updates. Just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on. And I'll see you guys on the next one.